The antique shop was a world unto itself, a maze of dusty relics and forgotten treasures. Its wooden floors creaked underfoot, and the faint scent of aged wood and mothballs filled the air. Elara Quinn stepped through the door, the bell above it tinkling softly to announce her arrival. She glanced around at the cluttered aisles, her eyes searching for something that might lead her further into the mysteries she sought to unravel. Her gaze was drawn to a large, ornate mirror standing in the far corner of the shop. The mirror's gilded frame was a masterpiece of intricate design, adorned with swirling vines and mythical creatures. Despite its beauty, there was an unsettling aura about it, as though it held secrets far darker than its appearance suggested. Hargrove, the shopkeeper, an elderly man with a kindly face and sharp eyes, noticed her interest. He shuffled over, his movements slow but deliberate. "Ah, Miss Quinn," he greeted, his voice a gravelly whisper. "I see you've found the mirror." Elara turned to him, curiosity evident in her eyes. "Yes, it's quite striking. What can you tell me about it?" Hargrove's expression grew serious. "It's been in my family for generations. They say it's cursed. People who've owned it before have vanished without a trace. The mirror. It reflects more than just images. It shows what isn't there. Some say it reveals the deepest fears of the soul." Elara felt a shiver run down her spine. She had heard whispers of cursed mirrors before, but this one seemed to possess a malevolent energy that intrigued and frightened her. She felt compelled to learn more. Later that evening, Elara stood in her dimly lit apartment, the antique mirror now propped against one wall. The room was quiet, save for the occasional creak of the old building. She carefully examined the mirror, its surface covered in a fine layer of dust. The ornate frame seemed to pulse with a strange energy. Elara opened her journal, jotting down notes about the mirror's origins and curse associated with it. As she worked, she couldn't shake the feeling that the mirror was watching her, its dark surface reflecting shadows that seemed to shift and writhe. "What do you see?" she murmured to herself, her curiosity growing stronger. She decided it was time to test the mirror's reputable powers. The apartment was cloaked in darkness, with only a single candle on Elara's desk providing light. She stood before the mirror, her reflection a flickering image in the dim glow. She stared into the glass, her mind focused on uncovering the truth. "Show me what you see," she said firmly. At first, the reflection remained normal. But then, the surface of the mirror began to ripple, as if disturbed by an unseen force. Elara's image twisted and warped, and she saw something unsettling behind her, dark, shadowy figures moving in the periphery of her vision. She spun around, her heart racing, but the room was empty. Turning back to the mirror, the figures were gone. Her breath quickened, but she forced herself to remain calm. "It's just a trick of the light," she reassured herself, though she felt a deep unease settling in her chest. The following morning, Elara returned to Hargrove's antique shop, the mirror wrapped carefully in a blanket. She approached the shopkeeper with a determined look, her mind racing with the implications of her recent experience. "I need to know more about this mirror," she said. "There's something wrong with it, something beyond mere superstition." Hargrove's face grew solemn. "The curse on that mirror is ancient. It was crafted by a dark sorcerer who sought to trap souls. The mirror doesn't just reflect images. It reveals the deepest fears of those who look into it. And it can manifest those fears into reality." Elara's eyes widened with alarm. "Manifest fears into reality? What does that mean?" "It means," Hargrove continued, "that the mirror has the power to turn your worst nightmares into tangible threats. It's a dangerous artifact because it can make those fears real, causing harm to the one who gazes into it." Elara felt a chill. The mirror was more than just a cursed object. It was a conduit for fear itself. She knew she had to approach it with caution. Back in her apartment, Elara prepared for another encounter with the mirror. She set up a protective circle around it using salt and candles, drawing upon her knowledge of various protective rituals. The mirror stood in the center of the circle, its dark surface seeming to pulse with a malevolent energy. Elara took a deep breath and began to recite the incantation. "Spirits of light, keep us safe, banish fear and shadow from this place." As she spoke, the mirror's surface began to shimmer and ripple. Elara's reflection twisted and distorted, and dark, shadowy figures began to emerge from the glass. Their eyes glowed with a sinister light, and the air grew colder, heavier. "Stay back!" Elara shouted, trying to project confidence despite the growing dread. "You're not welcome here." The figures pressed against the mirror, and Elara could feel the oppressive force trying to breach the protective circle. She continued to recite the incantation, her voice steady as she faced the encroaching darkness. The mirror's surface grew more turbulent, and the figures' wails filled the room. Elara fought to keep her focus, determined not to let the fears manifest. With every ounce of strength, she pushed back against the malevolent force. After what felt like hours, the mirror's surface finally settled. The dark figures had vanished, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. Elara, exhausted and shaken, sank to the floor, her heart pounding. She examined the mirror closely, noting the small cracks that had appeared in its surface, evidence of the struggle that had taken place. The mirror's curse was not broken. It was merely waiting for the next opportunity to strike. Elara knew she needed more knowledge and help. The mirror's power was formidable, and she had only scratched the surface of its dark influence. She resolved to seek out other practitioners of the supernatural, experts who might have deeper insights into the curse and how to counteract it. The next morning, Elara sat at her desk, reviewing her notes. The mirror was now carefully wrapped in a protective cloth, resting in a corner of the room. Elara felt a growing determination to uncover the truth behind the curse and protect those who might be affected by it. She looked out the window at the quiet streets of Ashwood, feeling the weight of the challenges ahead. The town seemed peaceful, but she knew that the darkness was always lurking just beneath the surface. "This is just the beginning," Elara said to herself, her voice resolute. With a renewed sense of purpose, Elara prepared for the journey ahead, knowing that she would face whatever darkness lay beyond the veil with courage and resolve. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more supernatural mysteries. The veil between worlds is thinning, and there are more dark secrets waiting to be uncovered. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next episode of Beyond the Veil.